Alright, so I was actually going to film a dance cover today, considering that I had had a lack of those, and I'd really like to have more of those on this channel. But, it was kind of a holiday where I live this past week, and so I've kind of gotten a little bit lazy. But, for good reason, basically, today, basically for the past couple of days, I've been, hanging out with family and doing things like that. So it's kind of been a little bit harder to, get some time to just, film a dance. So hopefully I'll have a dance cover for you guys next week. But for right now, I actually wanted to film a little bit of an advice video, mostly because I want to try something a little bit different. And I do want to give you guys a variety on here. I don't want my channel to all be dance covers, and that's something I've never actually wanted for my channel. But yeah, so I will hopefully post a dance cover next week. But for this week, I want to try to get this video out, because I know I haven't uploaded in a while. I know the last time I uploaded was actually for Deja Vudi's birthday. And that's why the upload that week was so early, because I was uploading for her birthday. But do remember that I do upload every other weekend. Usually it's going to be a Saturday, but if it's not, then it's going to be sometime during the weekend. I've always tried to upload during the weekend. But, I want to try to do every other weekend from now, not now on, but from now until the convention season starts, in which case I will be uploading a new video every single weekend. Due to the amount of vlogs I'm going to have. But, in the off season, I'd like to just, do these kinds of videos where, I'll either have, a dance cover or something like these kind of advice videos. Because I'd like to do a little bit more of these, because, I feel like there's, certain stuff that I'd like to talk about, but I don't really, get around to doing it. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have a video that is an advice video. So we're going to have an advice video on conventions and college life. I really feel like I wanted to give this advice because as a person who went to a lot of conventions last year while they were still, in university and, trying to kind of make ends meet, I'd like to actually, kind of give this advice so that you guys kind of don't make the same mistakes that I did. I know that a lot of you guys are going to be moving on to, picking which college you want to go to and applying to college, and some of you might actually be freshmen already in college, and that since the con season is coming up again, I wanted to try to get this advice out there so that all of you have this kind of advice, so you guys know what you're doing and know what to expect and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope this video helps you out. The first piece of advice that I have to give, because I know what you guys are all thinking. Oh, I'm headed to college now. I don't have my parents looking after me. I can do whatever I want. I can go to as many conventions as I want. I can make as many cosplays as I want. I'm going to pause you right there. While you do have a lot of freedom in college to do whatever you want to, remember that it is your education and your money. So please stay on top of your work as much as possible. Before you go to a convention, if you know that you're going to have a really big project due on Monday after the convention, I would probably rethink and replan for that convention. I'm saying that you might want to consider what's going to happen if you if you do end up going to this convention, what's going to happen that Monday that you have a project due, especially if it's a group project, because that's never good. But yeah, so please make sure you're on top of your work. Your work is your number one priority. That's why you're there. Well, that's part of the reason why you're there. So you do want to stay on top of that and make sure everything's going to be squared away before you leave for the convention and when you come back. The second piece of advice is to plan ahead. Before I go into my spring semester, I always know which conventions I'm going to be going to and which conventions I at least plan on going to. What I usually follow for planning my conventions out are usually going there, getting there, staying there, and eating there. Going there basically means, what is it going to cost for me to get my badge? How much is it? How early do I have to order my badge so that I can, get the greatest discount? That's basically just purchasing your badge. Getting there is any transportation. If you're riding down with a friend, how much gas money, how far you go, how far does it take to get there and come back. You know, if Friday you want to get there as soon as possible, you know how much time it's going to take for you to get there. If you're taking the bus, how much is the bus is going to cost, how long is that ride going to be. Anything pertaining to transportation, if if anything's going to cost over, or if it's going to cost too much for you to do it, always plan that out. Staying there is, of course, your hotel. Who are you rooming with? Are you going to be able to, like, if you need to do work during the convention, can you work in there? Can you find, someplace that you can work on stuff for a little bit? Just in case you need to. Most people don't even do or bring homework during the convention. And if who brings homework to the convention, you're good. Yeah, just make sure, all of that is squared away. Just basically budget out all of that so you know what you're going to do for each convention that you're going to go to. And eating there, of course, food, if you need to pack food, if you're going to scout around the area to see what food places are wherever you're going for the convention. I know there's usually at least one Subway outside of the convention. Well, at least all of the conventions that I go to, there's at least one Subway. So if you can find that one Subway, then basically you have $10 every day, and that's at least $30 to $60 for food, depending on how many days you're gonna be eating there. Also, if you're gonna be eating out during the convention, I know Katsucon is in the middle of a big complex where there's a lot of really high-end restaurants, and they're kind of expensive and a little bit pricey. But if you're going to be doing that, just be able to make sure that you're going to be able to spend that little bit of money to go and eat out. 3 kind of also goes hand in hand with 2, and that is to watch your finances. I would say not to live beyond your means. Basically, that means that if you know that you're not going to have money to do it, don't do it. basically put, just that basically goes with anything for life. You should always plan to live within your means. If you know that you're not going to be getting money before a convention, you always want to be aware of that, and you want to make sure that that you're not overspending on anything. If you want to wear 50 cosplays to one convention, I probably wouldn't do that. And why would you do that? Because that's a lot of cosplays. Why would you want to? It's changing every hour. Always remember, what you're going to be able to do. 4 is a really basic thing. Don't overdo it, okay? If you know for a fact that you are going to be going to a convention every single month, you're going to be tired. I'm going to tell you that from my personal experience, you are going to be really, really tired, because you're going to be doing a lot of traveling, a lot of stuff. That you're probably just going to be really, really just tired. By the end of the semester, you're going to just be almost completely drained. So also another thing to keep in mind is to watch your exam periods and watch your review periods if you are a design student. For where I go, I know a lot of the design students have a review period that's right before the final exams. And let me just say that if that's on Monday and you're planning on going to a convention before that weekend, I probably wouldn't go to that convention at all. Just for the simple fact that it's going to be a lot of work, unless you absolutely have everything you need done, which usually doesn't happen. I probably wouldn't go to that convention. I would say any convention near finals, I would suggest not going to. Now, that being said, going to the convention for 1 to 2 days is always an option. If you're going to be busy a weekend and, the convention's kind of close by, I would say probably within 1 to 2 hours. And even some conventions even have day passes, so that while you might be spending a little bit more money, you can actually still go to the convention that you want to go to. So just to review, 1, stay on top of your work. Remember that if anything, your schoolwork comes first, and that's all that matters. 2 is always to plan ahead, to plan out which conventions you're going to be going to and be able to be financially ready for them and have everything that you need for those conventions. Just please make sure that you have enough money for a convention and not scraping the bottom of your piggy bank, 4 is to not overdo. If you have a convention the week before a really, really big project is due, I wouldn't go to that convention. 5, remember that going to conventions for 1 or 2 days is always an option. Like, so that's basically it. If you guys have any questions for me, you can leave them in the comment section. I know the comment section kind of sucks right now, but you can either leave them there, you can either reply me on Twitter, asking me any of the questions that you want to ask. You can also reach me through my Tumblr. Like, any links to my social media are down in the bottom bar if you want to reach me there instead of, you know, commenting here, because I know a lot of people don't really like the new comment system. Like, don't worry about it, I don't either. You can reach me there, and I will happily answer any questions that you have pertaining to this at all. You know, just any additional advice, any other questions that you guys have. So, yeah. I will catch you guys later. So to those people who are applying to colleges this year, good luck. I hope you get into wherever you want to go to. Like, if there's any conventions that you want to go to around where you're going to be living, you know, just always don't be afraid to check them out. I mean, I know it's probably going to be a different atmosphere, but hey, that's all part of the fun. And to the people who are freshmen this year, the one piece of advice that I always want to give freshmen is to always just remember that if something isn't working out for them in their major, that you always have the power to change it, and that's something that nobody actually really advocates as much as like people do. But remember that, you know, it is your life, and nobody has control over your life but you. So whatever, you know, convincing anybody can ever do to say that you have to stay in the major that you chose, it's not true. You don't have to stick to a career path. In fact,